I have in fact picked up an entire Gimmick puppet deck core. Everyone knows Little Soldiers and Rogue Doll are the main two, with, well, and Cattle Stream, I guess.
Okay, we have made it to locals.
Oh,
Dark Springs 33.
that's exactly a game.
And I'll turn that into attack.
I'll take that.
So we just got back from locals and we finished 7th. So who knew that one card could change so much about a deck? This is Original Sinful Spore, Snake Eye, OSS, whatever you want to call it. This was one of the great linking cards between Snake Eyes and Fire King so that you could play the two together in a deck. And unfortunately, without it, there's not crazy amounts that actually links the two decks together. So you kind of have to make a decision. Do you go pure Snake Eye or do you go pure Fire King? Now, for me personally, I think I'm going to be choosing the Fire King route because the Snake Eye route is just way too hand trappy. It's pretty linear. There's not much else you can do outside of the regular start to a combo for a Fire King Snake Eye combo. And like I said, I've still not got half that Azamina card, so I don't think there's any point in me going for Fire King Azamina now, or just Snake Eye Azamina. Look, I think what we're going to do is take a step backwards and see how the pure Fire King deck plays. But if I do this testing and it goes as badly as I'm kind of thinking in the back of my head it's going to go, we may be switching up the deck altogether after just, 6-8 weeks of playing it. Now look, it kind of pains me to do this because I was starting to really enjoy the Snake Eye Fire King. Don't get me wrong, we still didn't do well this weekend, but we're still missing a couple of the key cards like Ambler Whale, etc., that kind of actually link the entire deck together. So we're still playing at a massive disadvantage, but I was starting to feel more comfortable with each card and each combo. So I don't want to give up on it right now, but at the same time, I don't feel like Fire King Pure is strong enough in this meta, especially with the kill all fire decks meta that's going on right now. So for those of you that may have seen on any other socials, I have in fact picked up an entire Gimmick puppet deck core engine outside of a few of the cards that I'm still looking for, and I did make a video on it. Now the reason I've picked up this deck is because Gimmick puppets, to me, I've always really liked them, and I think especially when you go to locals, you kind of want to play something unexpected. Fire King, everyone knows what breaks the Fire King line. Everyone knows that if you use a Ash here or a Veiler here, that you can just stop a Fire King deck in its tracks. But does everyone know the choke points of a Gimmick puppet deck? I'm not sure, because I didn't until I started playing it. So you never know. It might be one of those rogue wildcard decks that ends up doing well for me. But like I said, we're not giving up on Fire Kings yet. I want to make it work, but I have this as a backup if we need it. Right, so just had a locals. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of my deck. New and improved. We've sacked off the... oh, for fuck's sake. Look at that, guys. I've just gone to come and record this and I forgot. I've been playtesting, haven't I? So all of these cards are in a random order. Right, be right back. Right, okay, we're back. Just imagine that didn't happen and it wasn't really embarrassing. So, we are running 3 Little Soldiers, 3 Rogue Doll, 2 Cattle Scream, 2 Bisque Doll, 2 Terror Baby, 1 Dreary Doll, and finally 1 Scissor Arm. So that's all of the Gimmick puppet monsters. Now, everyone knows Little Soldiers and Rogue Doll are the main two, and Cattle Scream, I guess. You don't need to run as many as I am. For the engines outside of these two, you can just run one of everything else. But I just like having it because I don't have the other engine yet in terms of like Horus or anything like that. So I might as well have more monsters just in case I don't FTK. Next up, the hand traps. We are running 3 Ash and 3 Ghost Spell. Reason for this, Ash is obviously Ash, and then Ghost Spell is just so good for negating when they try and stop your Rogue Doll effect. And I've just found it's been that useful that I've been main decking it, because if there's one thing you don't want, it's your rogue doll to get negated, because it would just ruin your turn completely. So that's made it into the main deck, 3 of. Next up, we are running 3 of the Condolence Puppet, just basically a giant Foolish Burial. 2 of the Argent Chaos rank ups, a Called By, and a Foolish Burial regular. Again, maybe not optimal, but it's the cards that I've got. I like the way it works, so I'm happy with it for now. Chance to upgrade, yes. It's a good thing because there's actually quite a lot of cards in my deck that I can in fact get rid of without even having to think twice. So as and when I do get some of the better cards in, I don't have to go, oh, but what can I take out, because the deck works perfectly. So next up is the field spell stuff. So we are running 3 of the field spell itself. We're then running Terraforming, and we are running Set Rotation with the spare, which is Secret Village. Now again, this could be the Horus, but for now, I quite like how annoying this card can be for the opponent sometimes. So because I don't have Horus, there's no point in me giving them a random field spell. I was debating between this and the Seal of Orichalcos, but I feel like if they can actually activate the seal, it's actually more annoying for me. Whereas this, it's unlikely, especially if I can put it on there on before they've got spellcasters that they can do much. And then onto the traps, we are running 1 of the Service Puppet plays. My little edgy stuff that I'm running my Gravedigger's Trap Hole because it's still my favourite card. I think it's hilarious just to say, nope, negate your effect, and also, by the way, mate, take 2k damage. I just find it so funny that even though it doesn't help my FTK, it always just leaves my opponent open-mouthed whenever I use it. So it's just, for me, it's just comedy value, and it will get removed once I've got something to replace it with. Rivalry, really good because Gimmick Puppets don't care, whereas there are other decks that do. So again, because I've got the space, I might as well put in some of these really strong one-offs. And then finally, 3 Imperm, which is 3 Imperm. Don't have to say anything more. It is just one of the best cards in the game, full stop. Moving on to the extra deck. Again, this isn't even perfect either. I'm missing a couple of cards, and that's fine. We can improve it over time. So, one of this, rarely go into it. It's mostly used to search for your little soldiers if you need to, like through the effect of this isn't sorted either. Right, okay, scratch that. Onto the extra deck. So, first one, the rank 4 Gigantes doll. You don't go into it very much. It's mostly used for your rogue doll to search for little soldiers, but it can actually be pretty pivotal in certain scenarios. So I do like having it as an option. Next up, I'm playing 2 of the Fantasics and 3 of the Mechanics. Could play this at 2 very easily, but I'm missing some other cards, so I thought I might as well play it at 3. Next up, again, we are playing 3 of the Giant Grinders along with one of the C versions. Again, this could be set to 2 each, etc., but just because of the numbers that I currently have, that's what we're working with. 1 strings and 1 dark strings. That is not by choice. That is because, unfortunately, these are limited to 1. I would love to run more of these, but they're that strong that Konami obviously said that, no, you can only use 1. Next up is more of the like meme factor again, which I guess is the Leo and the C Leo. Surprisingly, online I've actually won some duels using these guys' effects, but I've never even been confident enough to summon it in an actual game. But when the stakes aren't that high when you're playing online, I have used it and I have managed to use it in some win conditions sometimes. So it's in there, but again, you can get rid of it if you've got better cards. Chimera Doll. Now this card is actually one of my favourite cards in the deck because it's that last final push to give you that FTK. Or it's the thing to get you out of that bad pinch if you had a couple of things negated. Unfortunately, I only currently own 1 of these. So I have to make do and basically just choose it wisely and either use it to FTK or use it to get myself out of a situation. But if a duel goes on for more than a few turns, I'm usually really hurt not having this because I have no way of recycling all the rest of my cards. Side deck, honestly, I'm just going to spread them out. Don't pay too much attention to it. I put this, you can see they're still in random sleeves. I put this side deck together the morning of locals. So that is what's in my side deck. We've got D Barrier, evenly matched, Dark Ruler, Raigeki, Harpies, the other Puppet Trap, 2 Dogwoods, and an Anti-Spell. Honestly, I didn't really switch out much. I did play the Dark Rulers when I needed to. Apart from that, I think this deck, I did also use this Puppet Trap at one point, but the deck pretty much stayed the same. So there you have it. There is the Gimmick Puppet deck for locals.
Okay, we have made it to locals. I've been actually ill all week, but I'm luckily on the mend now and definitely well enough to be out and about. So hopefully we can make myself feel better by winning some games.
So game one was against a Protoss deck, but he was using Scareclaw to get the Protoss out. And I hate Protoss, it's so annoying to play against. So I ended up losing game one, but then game two, I put some stuff from the side deck in to try and make sure that I could get rid of it basically, because otherwise all he does is choose dark and I can't do anything about it. So we ended up winning game two, but there was no time left and he decided to go first in game three just to make it official. But he finished his turn and the game was over. I couldn't do anything in time just to get any life points away. So match one, draw. So game two saw us against Dark World, and Dark World is actually the reason I decided to play Gimmick Puppets, because I've came up against this in locals before, and it's such a funny deck because all they do is just drag cards out of your hand and don't let you play. And it made me think, well, if someone else is going to come in playing a cheese strat like that, then I'm going to play Gimmick Puppets because that's the same thing, but you can actually FTK and it's really good. So we actually had a really interesting game. We won game one by managing to get the life points down exactly, and that's what the clip you'll see that I'll be playing in a second. We then lost game two because he went first, and then we won game three on time. It was going to be an FTK, but we only had enough time to get him down to like the 3,300 or 3,100, whatever the life points are before the FTK. But game two, win.
So what I'm going to do then in that case is activate Giant Grinder effect to destroy your silver by detaching.
I will not get with punishment.
You won't, okay?
Because you're just going to blow it up again with anyway, and then I have protection on the next turn, so.
True.
Also, I would have summoned that and attacked, by the way.
I can change that into attack.
Well, yes, but if you switch them both into attack,
don't you worry.
practically anybody is game.
Don't you worry.
You still probably have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I don't have the strings,
Yeah, because that's...
because it's...
No, that's not. This still isn't game, because that's... The Fanta 6 you're about to put out is 3,100.
not fancy, I'm putting out.
Oh,
Dark strings is 33,
that's exactly game.
and I'll turn that into attack.
I'll take that.
And
I'll
because,
take that.
Yeah, I was going to say then, because
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Exactly game. I thought you were about to summon Fanta 6. I was like, I still have 200 life left. But,
Yeah.
alright, game 2 then.
Nice.
But...
So I didn't film game number 3, but we were against Ubel and we just went 0-2. It was kind of a good job we didn't film it, to be honest with you, because I didn't do well, but I did ask for some advice at the end, which ended up helping me potentially for next time I play Ubel. So this is game number 4, where we were against Ryziel. Obviously, big meta deck right now, and again, we went 0-2. Both these games, the Ubel and the Ryziel, were really good though, because the guys at locals are really nice, and as soon as the game finished, because we had some time left, I asked them both, look, how can I try and play against this deck, and what can I do to try and win it or stop something or negate the thing that I needed to negate to make something work. And they were both very good and just helped me out in just saying, here's the kind of stuff you should negate, here's what you shouldn't, here's what I do, and here's how your deck can do something. So even though they were both losses, they're wins in my mind because I have stuff to learn for next time.
So we just got back from locals and we finished 7th. I mean, it was out of 10, but still fantastic for me, right? Much better than we've done for the last 2 or 3 locals with the Fire King Snake Eye deck. And look, I just don't think it was for me. I think that OSS ban was a complete godsend for me because it just forced me to go away from something that I just wasn't fully grasping and playing properly, right? So we went with our brand new Gimmick Puppet deck, and it was fine, and that's as far as I'll go, is fine. I think I managed to get a couple of wins through knowledge of the card, but actually my FTK was so inconsistent today. Twice during the locals, I pulled set rotation and the random field spell that I didn't want to draw. So that was super unlucky, but yeah, we managed to FTK twice. No, we managed to FTK once. And then we had one where I would have FTK'd, but time ran out, but I was running through my FTK as we were going, so I won on life points. Now, I didn't know this, but a couple of people at locals have been playtesting Gimmick Puppets for ages, so they know a lot about it. So after locals finished, stayed behind a bit at the end, found out some new information and some other cards and little things you can do just to make the deck that little bit better. I was running the good old Gravedigger because I love that card. I just think it's hilarious to basically be like, stop any in-hand or graveyard effect, oh, and take 2k damage. I feel like it suits the Gimmick Puppet deck really well. The only problem with it is that it doesn't help you when you're trying to FTK, because if you draw into one of those, it's just a waste. It's a waste. There is no point in you doing it at all. So what I've got to do next, unfortunately, is probably invest in the Horus engine. They're level 8 extenders that just work absolutely perfectly with the deck. They give you many more ways of searching that field spell, and I just think, realistically, if I want this deck to be as good as it can be, I'm going to need to invest. Do I do it straight away? I'm not sure. Maybe I should have a few weeks of trying the raw Gimmick Puppets, get really good at every interaction there, and then over time I can start buying those 15, 20 pound Horus cards just to make sure that my deck is also competitively viable, right? Someone else was playing Gimmick Puppets at locals today. We almost matched up against each other, but everything got respun because two people were playing each other again that already had. So that would have been fun, but he had the basically upgraded version of Gimmick Puppets with the Horus engine, and he finished a lot higher than I did today. So I think it kind of shows that it's much more consistent, and just watching him go through plays and how this works, yes, 100%, it just makes it so much better. So we're in the same spot as we were with Fire Kings, which is, the deck is okay, it can perform in situations, but if we really want it to perform, we need to put our hand in our pockets and spend a load of money, which I'm starting to see as a rolling theme with Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like you can find something that works, and then you just have to spend if you want to make it really good. But you know what? I love the Gimmick Puppet deck. I think it's hilarious. I think the cards are weird and wonderful. And I think if I am going to commit to a deck, it might be this one.